Hi, and welcome to another episode of Connecting Women Who Break Barriers. Today I have with me the beautiful Kay. Welcome to the podcast. How are you
Thank
today?
you. Thank you. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks. Kay, would you like to give us a bit of an introduction and about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I am the founder and director of a company called Connect Executive Search Group. We are specialist recruiters and we recruit across the UK for predominantly healthcare professionals, but we also have developed different industries, so telecommunications, sales, HR, that type of thing really. But we're 8 years into the business now and we're doing well, thankfully.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. So 8 years and soon this baby will be 10.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
nice.
I also have two children. One's 8 and one's 4 next week.
Yeah.
So juggling that is quite a handful, but it's also challenging, and that's something that I like to do.
Well, on that note, how do you manage all of these balls that you're juggling, including family life?
Yeah, the obvious thing is organisation is key in any business to juggle anything. But I also believe self care is really important. So if you're looking after yourself, going to the gym, getting regular breaks, walks, then everything is it flows a lot better within
Yeah.
your day to day tasks. So I think self care is so important, and sometimes I just go with it. You just go with the flow and see what happens. You can't always be very regimented in everything that you do. So I think it's important to sometimes take a step back and just look at what you're doing. And I just believe that self care is really important in this day and age as well.
Yeah. And having two kids, do they come in and say, Mum, we want your time with this. Can you stop working right now? Or do you have a little bit of a strict work setup where it's like, no, family time's now family time? And how do you juggle it, especially having your own business? Because I would assume that it's taken a period of time to grow it as well.
100%. At the beginning stages, when they're really young, I just did what I could do. Um,
Mhm.
but I think I'm very much about family as well, and I appreciate the time that I have with them. They're only young ones, so I make sure my working hours are just as my staff that work for me. So we do 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. If I need to work out of those hours, I will do that, but it's not often because I believe that you should have a work-life balance.
Yeah.
If something can't be done within the working hours and it really needs to be done outside of that, it'll be a one-off or, whatever I need to do. But at the same time, I think it's so important to be there for your children and for your family. So yeah, I switch off at 5 o'clock, especially on
Yeah.
a Friday. It's my
Yeah.
time to relax with my family, and that's the whole. It's also linked in with the self-care side of things. You've got to have boundaries, you've got to have a barrier there, so you can't work all hours because you won't be productive. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do genuinely, want to give my time to my children and my family.
And is that one of the reasons why you started a business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to work for a few corporate businesses, and to be honest, I did well with them, and I really enjoyed my time with them as well because I've learned to do the recruitment side of things. I've learned to develop myself, so really good. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted a family. I knew that I wanted to have that work-life balance, and I knew I could do it on my own. So that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, work-life balance is really important to me. Even within the company that I've set up, we work from home 3 days a week, and then we work out of the office twice a week. So it's giving them that flexibility as well, and giving them that balance that everybody wants. There's not a lot of businesses out there, especially in recruitment, offer a hybrid working model because it doesn't always work for people. But because we are very small, I can measure it a lot better. If we were
Yeah.
really big, I don't think it would work personally.
And also, I always believe the leader sets the bar. So if you've got a certain way of working and you're like, I've got my boundaries in terms of our work hours, in terms of what we take on and things like that, if you are also representative of that and living that way, then
Yeah.
your team members would be like, okay, we're going to be supported if we do the same. Right?
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head with that, because one of my biggest mottos is, you lead by example.
Yeah.
So that's why I want everybody that works with me to feel like I'm inspiring them. They can look up to me. They can also work with me. I'm not just going to head off to the gym and leave them in the office. It's just not the way it works. I mean, I've worked for other companies before where the directors have either never been there, never been involved, never done recruitment before, they've been roofers, so when it comes to even talking about figures or talking about the work, they don't understand. So the benefit of me starting from the bottom and working my way up and leading by example is that I understand why this job offer might not come in. I understand the market. I understand why things aren't happening. So I'm a bit more realistic in how we can approach it and the solutions behind it. So I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, and I think like, even working for someone, there's always a benefit to everything. There's a
Yeah.
silver lining and, as you said, you learn things, throughout that journey. But if you were to go back 8 years ago, did you have any resistance and was there a lack of self-belief or anything like that when you
Oh,
started this
100%.
journey?
I mean, if I was to say no, that would be a lie. Obviously, I was working for a big company. They paid me a really good salary. They gave me the car that I wanted to. And they literally took me on 3 holidays, all inclusive, paid for.
Like,
But it wasn't the fact that I wasn't happy. I was happy, but
yeah,
I knew that I wanted to just do something for myself.
yeah,
And
nice.
even they were shocked. I mean, gave me a car that I wanted, that I begged for, and
Yeah,
within
nice.
3 months I handed in my notice, and they were a bit like, what's going on? But it's the best thing that I could have done, purely because the stress of having to work within a certain period of time for somebody else, and then the director's not really understanding why things aren't coming through because they haven't been in that situation before. So I think there's a lot of stress involved working for somebody. Even if it's 9 till 5, your contract never says 9 till 5. It'll always say,
No.
oh, you work between 8 and 7. So,
Yeah.
I've also, when I started in recruitment, I worked for Michael Page, which are very, very big recruiters.
Mm.
And I was working 8 till 8, and I was only 22.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I have done all of that and I've been through all of that. But I just think, yeah, I think the best thing for me was to have my work-life balance and to be able to work around my family, and set up something that would benefit my lifestyle.
Yeah, nice. And I think that's something that I just want women to also be mindful of is that
Yeah,
you can create the life that you want. Yes, you're going to
100%.
have to do the hard yards at the start. You're going to have to put the hours in and really hustle for a period of time. But
Yeah,
if you know what you want, the
yeah.
only person stopping you really is yourself, right?
With yourself. And like, just going back to the question that you asked me, obviously I was scared. I
Yeah.
was scared, like, what if I don't make any money? What if
Yeah.
things go wrong? And to be honest with you, managing a business is not just about, having days off and doing what you want and, working 10 o'clock if you want to work 10 o'clock. In order to be successful, you have to put those hours in. You have to be dedicated. You have to be motivated, and you have to really want it. I think it's passion. If you've got passion for something, and that's why I say to people, don't just go for a job because it's paying you money that you really, really, really love. And it's really important to do something that you enjoy, that you're going to be dedicated to, and the money will follow.
So, in terms of the risks that you took for the business and seeing where you have come to today, did you feel excited and proud about it all the whole time, or is it something that's taken a bit of time for you to celebrate your
Yeah.
success?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm being really, really honest here. it's only the last year or so that I've actually felt proud of where I've come. And people might think, wow, why? And people used to say to me, you should be proud, you should be proud. But it was just something inside me. I used to compare myself a lot to other businesses, other people and how far they've come. And I think it's the theft of all joy comparison. So, you know what they say, if you're not happy within yourself, you can't be happy for anyone else. And I'm a massive believer in that. So it's all about working on yourself. And I am very proud now because I've seen so many of my clients that I've developed relationships with come back to me. I've had people say, oh, you've been recommended to us. And, considering we're a really small business in the space of, there's so much competition around us.
Yeah.
So many people doing what we do on a higher scale. It's the clients that want us to work with them because we are a very personable business. We're very boutique, and people, if they can work with us and really get to know how we work, because we are very quality focused. So I think, in that respect, I've only just started to feel proud this last year, which is crazy really, because we have done really, really well. But it's not just about the financials of a business to feel proud. And that's one thing that I've had to think about, and I've had to realise. It's about everything. It's about the fact that any growth is good growth. The fact that we've got more clients on and people are recognising us more. So everything you have to take into consideration. Also the fact that I've got 2 children, I'm trying to juggle that as well as develop the business. So I am proud, and I think it was just confidence within me that made me change the way I feel. And I think it's self-esteem, and my self-esteem has improved massively over the last year. But there was loads of factors that sort of contributed towards that. But I definitely did not feel proud up until last year or so, and that's like 8 years of running a business. So, and ever since I have started feeling prouder, things have been coming for me. Like, I've had so many positive clients approach me. I've had people wanting to work with me and work for the business. I mean, it's something that's within the growth plans, but it's crazy how much, once you change your mindset, how much can sort of happen.
And I think that's a really important point. I'm just going to touch on a few things which the listeners will really appreciate as well, that the hard work is necessary, but in terms of being proud of yourself and congratulating yourself, that's just as important. Because 100%. The numbers don't always mean the world, because if you're not going to bed at night feeling happy with what you've done and what you've achieved, it's like, what are you doing it for? It's not just to feed your family, it's a passion of yours, it's something that excites you. So it's nice to see that you are seeing the good side of it too now, because it's not just work for you.
One of the other things I will say is energy is contagious and it doesn't lie. So when you feel good, you feel positive, you guaranteed whoever you're speaking to will pick that up. If you're feeling low, you're not happy, you don't feel good, you feel, you're not proud of yourself, people can sense that. And it is, I'm a big energy sort of empath, so I do feel people's energies, but I'm a big believer in it. And if you give that positive energy out, you will 100% get it back. And I live my life through this. It's hard to be positive every day, and I'm a realist. I get that. But when it comes to talking to people, talking to clients, be yourself, be positive, be upbeat, and people buy people. So that's how I sort of try and develop relationships with people. I don't sell. I don't try and sell to them. I'm myself. I'll just understand what their requirements are, and I think it's important to be happy, and it's important to be positive, and it really works. It really, really works.
I love that, but I'm going to touch on the other side of it, where you said when you're not feeling so good. So in those moments, how do you lift yourself up? Or are you the kind of person who's like, no, I'm feeling this and I'm actually going to take a minute to feel it rather than suppressing it? and be
Yeah.
like, I need to get back to what I'm doing because I've got a business to run or kids to
Yeah.
take care of. Do you give yourself some time?
To be honest, it's like you just said, that it's recognizing that that you feel that way and
Yeah.
accepting it. Sometimes you can't control your emotions. Well, you can
Yeah.
control your emotions, but you can't help that this is happening to you, because everyone's got emotions. Everyone's going to feel differently every day, and there's so many other contributing factors that will make you feel a certain way. So what you have to do is accept that you're feeling that way and give yourself time. I always say it takes me 24 hours to get over something, and it does. And because I've got that in my head, I will almost make sure that it doesn't take me longer than 24 hours to get over it. And
Yeah.
I say that to people. I say, oh, just give me 24 hours, I'll be fine in the morning. You
Yeah.
know, I just need 24 hours
Yeah.
to process what's going on. And it's always good if people are grieving, grieve. You have to deal with the emotions, and you have to let yourself process them. If you
Yeah.
don't process your emotions and you just try and let them go over your head, then they will come back, and you've not processed them properly. So everything will just come back. So whilst it's happening to you, just accept it and process it and give yourself time. Even if it takes a week, it's fine. No, there's no right or wrong, is there?
No,
It
not
just
at all. Because
give yourself that time to process what's happening and lift yourself back up, because everything, even emotions, are temporary. Everything's temporary. Nothing ever lasts forever. And I think it's important to remember that and just think, you know what, I'm going through this right now. It's okay. You know, it's a temporary situation and it will get better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah, I love that.
Always.
Love that. Um, just on that note, what's something that you're excited about outside of your business that you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to, I've just turned 40, so I'm looking forward to going away next week to Lake Garda, so that'll be nice. I'm looking forward to life. It sounds really strange, but I've always said, you know, everyone's like, oh, you're 40 now, you're not, you know, you're worried. And no, I'm not. And it's not just because I've got a business, I've got kids, I've got what I wanted when I was 40. It's just because I actually love living. And it is about self-care as well, because I feel good within myself. Age is just a number to me. So I'm excited about my new adventures. I'm excited about what I've got planned, even with the business, and I want to potentially start another business, being creative, because I'm a makeup artist as well, which I used to do on the side. So I want to potentially do something creative. So I'm just excited for the next chapter of my life. If anything,
Well,
I'm using this 40, life starts at 40. I'm using
yeah,
it to my advantage. So yeah, I'm excited to see what life holds, really.
yeah. Well, firstly, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And, you know, as they say, the fabulous 40s. So you've definitely started the new era in a good way. And I
Yeah,
think that's exciting because I have the same belief. Like, one of my mottos is life loves me like I love life.
yeah,
So if you love your life, and even with the ups and downs that every single person experiences, and as you said, it could be day to day or every now and then or whatever it is, it's like the more we appreciate our life, even just the simple things, there's things to be excited about, there's things to look forward to. And I think
100%.
having that mindset is really important because what else are you living for?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. If you want to live a good life, then you have to create that yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to do it for you. You
Yeah.
can't sit there and expect other people to make your life exciting. You have to do it yourself. So you're in charge of your life. You're in charge of your emotions. You're in charge of how you want to respond to certain things and react to certain people, or you know. So it's all about you, and that's why I talk about self-care a lot. But you have to look after yourself. You are number one.
Yeah. And what
100%.
about like outside of your family, your self-care? Do you feel like community, friendships,
Yeah, I
sisterhood?
mean, I'll be honest, my friends, I have some really good friends. I call them my soulmates, because, you know, and a lot of them, in fact, I think most of them, are on the same level as me in terms of the senior managers, the directors. They have their own businesses, so they fully understand. And I think you attract your tribe, don't you? You attract
Yeah.
who you sort of get on with. But I'm really, really lucky in that respect, because I have friends who totally understand what I have to do on a day-to-day basis, because they're doing exactly the same thing. Some of them don't have children, some of them would love to have children, but at the same time they're still working hard, you know, and that's something that they will have in the future. But yeah, I'm really, really lucky to have a close-knit community that support me, and that on the same sort of wavelength, really. So that's very important as well.
Yeah, nice. And in terms of mum guilt, I know that you said you have a good work-life balance, but if you have a moment where you're like, I really don't want to get up early today, but you know the kids are ready and they want to play and they want to do other things. They're like, Mum, we want breakfast. How do
Yeah.
you deal with that?
More than guilt, it's more stress. It's like, oh gosh, not again, not again.
Yeah,
But you just have to get up. As a mother, you can't really compromise on things like that. I mean, I've got a really supportive partner, and I thank him for that, because he's a really good dad,
yeah,
and he helps a lot. So it's almost like 50-50. We do everything 50-50. We share the responsibilities 50-50. So I am really, really grateful and lucky to have him. But at the same time, I am a mum, and mums, obviously, kids, sometimes children want their mums to
yeah,
do certain things. And I just think you just have to get up and go and do it. There's no, oh, give me 20 minutes and I'll make you breakfast, because it doesn't work. You know, you
yeah,
just have to get up
yeah,
and do it. But I do speak to my children and I do say, look, you know, mummy's really tired today. So can you guys just sit and chill? I explain that I am tired, and I also explain if they want to go on holidays and the mummy has to work, there's no way we can go on holidays if we don't work. So they are understanding children, and they're very, very good children, to be fair. You know, and I'm inspiring them, because my little boy said to me the other day, he said, I want to be my own boss. I want to have my own business. Yeah, so he's also seeing all of this, and he always asks me, bless him, he always asks me how things are going, and he's actually, you know, very thoughtful child for an 8-year-old, but he always says, you know, oh, why don't you take these business cards with you, mummy, if you go into a networking event? So he's really, really sweet and really cute. But yeah, I've not got like, my children are good children as well, so that always helps. You know,
yeah,
but sometimes you just got to get on with it. You're tired or
yeah.
not tired, you just have to go.
Yeah, but you know, also like I'm sure they didn't just become good kids, right? You've
Yeah,
led by example, even in your family life. It's like,
yeah.
yep, we've got to take care of ourselves. You know, we need to be there for each other.
Like saying that, you look up to your parents, don't you, and what they were
Yeah,
doing. My dad was the hardest worker and did so well for himself. So my business ethic is probably from my dad. My mum had her own business as well, but
yeah,
then obviously because she had 4 children, she had to become a
mhm,
housewife. Nobody else would look after her 4 children. But yeah, it's a hard slog. It's an absolutely hard slog. But at the end of the day, you do look up to your parents, and
yeah,
the only reason why I wanted my own business was purely because I saw my dad doing it, and he's given me that. He's given me that dedication and motivation to do it myself,
yeah.
100%.
Nice. Is there any like key or one milestone, or even obstacle that you've faced that you think might have been a little bit of a turning point in terms of your journey so far?
Yeah, so I think prior to this business, that's been going for 8 years, I had a business prior to this with a business partner, and I became pregnant. And so we decided to dissolve the business. At that stage, I just didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know whether I wanted to continue, you know, being a business owner. It was just, obviously my hormones were going crazy. I was very, very pregnant. So I think I was about 10, 11 months pregnant, ready to give birth. So weirdly and coincidentally, I got a phone call again for word of mouth. So she said I'd been recommended to her. So she wanted me to find her some people, and my first thought was, I need to perform and I want to do this, and this is an opportunity. When an opportunity knocks, you should take it, and that's just the way I think. So obviously at that time, to be fair, at that time I was very heavily pregnant, and I just thought to myself, do you know what, I need to do something here. And so I said to the lady, look, give me a few weeks, I'm just on maternity at the moment. And that was it. Within a week or 2 weeks, I set up a business, I set up a website, I set up an email address, I thought of a name, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to do this. And luckily I was financially secure. I think that's really important, because when you don't have the financials and you're looking to set up a business, it's a bit of it's more of a risk. It's not that it won't work, it's more of a risk. It just depends on what business you're setting up, really, and how much you need to invest in it. So I was very fortunate to have some money saved aside. So then that was the end of it, and that was the start of this journey. And my little boy, when I first made my first placement with this client, he was 3 months old. And since then, this is how Connect Executive Search was born. So yeah, that was a turning point for me, a massive turning point. And so I genuinely believe that opportunities arise for a reason. So you should always take opportunities, even if they don't necessarily lead to what you expect them to lead to, but there'll always be either a blessing or a lesson. So it's always a learning curve. So yeah, that was a massive turning point for me, I'd say.
On that note, actually, for someone who, might be worried about their age, whether it comes to starting a business or even thinking about the fact that I want to change careers, but I'm not sure if I am employable, what's something that you would, say to a candidate or even to a new business owner or someone wanting to embark on that journey?
Yeah, it's really difficult, because I feel like a lot of candidates, if they're past a certain age, so past 50, they think they can't get a job. And to be honest with you, it's not the case. You will have some clients out there that will want young, and they'll say it to me, young, vibrant, proactive candidates we need. But at the end of the day, it depends what sort of roles you're going for as well. In the industry that I recruit for, healthcare, if you've got the skills, you've got the skills. They don't care if you're 100. I think you've got to believe in yourself. There's people out there getting jobs when they're 60. If you want to do it, if you want to do something, you've got to believe in yourself. You've just got to go out there and apply. And if you're stopping yourself from applying, you'll never get anything. You've got to try. It does affect some clients recruiting, if they are a bit of an older generation, but it's not. If you've got a specialist skilled role, then no matter what age, if you've got the skills they're looking for, they'll take you, So it just really varies, but I would definitely say, don't underestimate yourself and don't devalue yourself at all. Go for it. If you're already thinking, I can't do it, then you can't do it. It's the whole energy thing, isn't it? Yeah. Think you can do it and you'll do it. There's nothing you can't do. Yeah. So I'm a big believer, just go for it, What's the worst that can happen? They say no. Okay, fine. Yeah. But apply for things that you want to apply for. Just don't doubt yourself.
Yeah. And give it a go, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. As you said, like in your instance, there was a knock on the door, and it's like, try and follow those knocks, because you never know what it's going to lead to.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
So if there was one thing that you'd like to say, from your life journey or just in general, that you feel women should also think about, what's inspiring that you wish someone had told you?
One of the biggest things for me is, I've said this before in the podcast earlier, is comparison. Do not compare yourself to anyone or against anyone, because It's the theft of all joy. I think embrace yourself, embrace what you're doing, and be happy and be proud of what you're doing. And you know, like I said, growth, any growth, even if it's small growth, is still growth, and you're still developing yourself, and learn as much as you can. Also, take the opportunities that come your way. And like I said, sometimes they might not go your way. I'm a big believer in, you know, taking opportunities and seeing where that takes you, because they open doors to different avenues, and that's what life's all about, isn't it? It's all learning, developing, going on the roller coaster of life. Yeah, I think don't compare yourself to people. Be proud of yourself and proud of what you've achieved. And I think, you know, that will shine off you, really. The energy will definitely attract other like for like people. Even if you're talking about relationships, you know, if you're looking for a partner who's a long life partner, you have to be happy within yourself and really look after yourself before you start to get into another relationship. I've read so many books on like just relationships in general, not just like, you know, partner relationships, like friend relationships. And they've always said, if you've ever come out of a relationship and you've had a lot of negative energy and a lot of negative situations happen, and you're feeling sad and low, you go into another relationship straight after, it will never work, ever, because you're taking that baggage with you. You have to work on yourself, get yourself to a point where you feel content within yourself and happy, and then you're giving your all to that person who deserves that, and it will work. But you can't move from one place of your life to another with the same baggage that you've carried, because you'll just go around in circles. So be very, very proud of yourself and be, you know, embrace what's happening and just look after yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I love that. It does come down to what we believe we're worthy of is
Yeah,
what we also attract. If we think, oh, I'm not good enough because that happened, or my age is a defining factor,
definitely.
or, you know, what I've experienced is also a hurdle, those things, I guess, keep us stuck, right?
100%.
And there's no
100%.
point dwelling on that because you're missing out on life.
Exactly. I know sometimes I think people try and control situations that you just can't control. Can't
Hmm.
control a situation, so instead of trying to change it, accept that this is the situation
Yeah,
and move on,
yeah,
and you know, do something else. But you can't sometimes you can't control things in life. You're just flogging a dead horse, aren't you? There's not really much
yeah.
you can do, so you have to think of other solutions. It is all about, you know, the energy, the positivity, and what you give off is what you'll get back. And it's true, it does work. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are becoming a lot more open to learning and developing themselves spiritually, and, you
Mhm.
know, meditating and just trying to look after themselves. A lot of people are open to that now, even the whole, like, you know, vegan side of things and eating well, you know, looking after your body. It's just, it's a big thing, and it does work. It 100% works.
And it's a lifelong commitment as well,
Yeah,
right? And it's like
100%. It's a
all these small
lifestyle.
things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a lifestyle. Being a balanced lifestyle then allows you to achieve, you know, the success and things that you're achieving.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I've not achieved everything that I wanted to achieve, and I may not achieve everything that I really want to achieve, but I'll try my best to. And if it
Yeah,
doesn't happen, then other things will happen that I didn't expect to. You know,
yeah,
so it's just, you've got to be open. You've got to be
yeah.
open. You've got to be willing. You've got to be able to receive, you know, the opportunities. That's why I say take opportunities when they arise. Definitely.
Do you find it easy to receive? Because I think women struggle with receiving love, care, even attention, or struggle with like being seen sometimes.
Yeah, I think it is a real struggle for women because they automatically feel like it's the same thing as loving yourself. You've got to love yourself. You don't love yourself, you can see it. It's obvious when you speak to someone who's really, you know, quite insecure about themselves, doesn't really want to accept anything, and that's because you know, they've obviously been through experiences, they've shut down, and it is really, really sad. And I mean, I'm fortunate. I have been through, you know, situations where I felt like that as well. Um, but I just think it is, you do have to kind of work on yourself and come out of a shell, because the only reason why people aren't accepting love or accepting anything like that is because they don't feel happy within themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't feel good within themselves to accept it. But if you are happy, you're like, yeah, give it, bring it my way, give me love, give me shower with, you know, you just be like,
Yeah.
oh, shower me with everything you want, you know. So it's just, you have to learn to love yourself. You have to
Yeah.
learn to love yourself, not in a confident, cocky way at all. Just like, you know, just love yourself and love who you are and embrace your body. And you know, if you've had kids, it's your stomach's absolutely fine because you've had kids, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, just knowing that your body's worked helping you make babies. So you've
Yeah.
just got to not be hard on yourself, but really, really work on yourself as well. Meditation, going to the gym, exercise is so underrated. Walking is so underrated. Like just going for a walk, it makes you lose weight, but it also really helps with being out in the fresh air and just opening up your mind and brain sometimes. It really helps to do things like that. So again, self-care is like a reoccurring sort of subject really, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, in terms of receiving, I think that's just as important, right? Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we're consistently giving as women when, you know, by nature nurturers. So
Yeah.
it's easy for us to always be outward thinking and wanting to help others.
Need to be nurtured. That's what we were sort of born for. We need someone to look after us really. And when the opposite happens, when you have to be the sort of male in a relationship, or a female side sort of depletes a little bit, you do start to become within you. You start become within yourself, so you close yourself off. But it's just realizing that actually you can be vulnerable, you can be open to receiving love, and you know, everyone deserves love, whether you're man or woman. Everyone deserves, you know, being sort of nurtured and open to love really. So yeah, it's important to be, I don't know, it's a difficult topic really, because it's easier said than done, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
easy to say, oh, you know, be within yourself and be positive and whatever, because people are going through so many different situations. But you've got to try. You've got to
yeah,
at least try.
yeah,
You've got to at least put things in place to help yourself mentally.
yeah,
So yeah, all the exercise, meditation, everything helps. So eating good food helps towards your brain, doesn't it? So
yeah, yeah. And on that note, I think, you know, one of the takeaways for me is definitely trying. And, you know, when a door opens for you, go and check it out. You never know what's
definitely,
hidden behind there. And all these
exactly,
detours are always leading us to at least a light at the end of the tunnel or to
100%.
a silver lining. So thank you. That was really,
Oh,
really empowering. And that was really inspiring because I think for me, there's so many takeaways from this conversation, but self care, self love is so important because when you fill your cup up, you can be a happier person for others. And, you know, for me, definitely feeling confident comes with being happy from the inside out. Being
yeah,
peaceful comes from, you know, really embracing your own flaws per se, but just accepting yourself as you are. And, you know, especially as a
100%.
mum, I'm grateful that you mentioned that there isn't any reason that we should think because we've had kids, we've got to look a certain way or feel a certain way. Your body's done amazing things for you. So it's like every step of the journey, everything that you've experienced, embrace it, accept it, love it, and
100%.
appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, at the end of the day, you only live once. You know,
Yeah,
you live once. So
yeah,
time flies. You have to embrace the time that you have left. You don't know what's around the corner. You have to think of these things. You have to really embrace the now. A lot of people what's going to happen in next month or the month after. Like, live for the moment. It's so important to live for the moment, you
Yeah.
know, and don't waste time. And like I said, like, opportunities not knock on the door. Definitely take opportunities, because they'll lead you to other areas and other avenues in life. So it's really important, yeah, very much so. But it's been a pleasure being on here with you. It's been really
Thank you
nice to
so
talk, to be fair, because I think it's
much.
important. I've not really spoken about all of this for a very, very long time, so it's been really good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate
Oh,
it. And to our
thank you.
listeners, remember that you are loved, you are not alone, and you can actually achieve anything you want as long as you stay on course and give it a try.
Never give up.
Yes, indeed. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Oh, thank you.